You're listening to the Fantasy 40 podcast with Andrew Burke, John DeBari, and Matt Walker. Yahoo!
We are back. Welcome to another episode of the Fantasy 40 podcast with myself, John DeBari, my co-host, Mr. Matt Walker, MIA as always, Mr. Andrew Burke. Today we have a very special guest. We're talking IDP. Since Walk and I just dabble in it and are not experts, we had to get an expert in here to help us walk through some of these rookies and impact on the IDP landscape for this season and going in the future for your dynasty leagues. Welcome to the show, Mr. Doug Bevills. Doug, how you doing?
What's up, fellas? And you gotta go easy on an expert word, man. I ain't an expert at nothing but sleeping and drinking beer, brother.
The priorities are in order, clearly. But in this room, you are the expert. You know, and truthfully, we said Burke was missing in action. He willingly bowed out of this conversation today because he knows absolutely nothing about IDP. Doesn't play in one, doesn't want to play in one. So probably for the best that he wasn't here contributing nothing to today.
So this is a perfect show for him to come on then, because I could lay it out for him and we get him in the league, man, and get him going. It's not as intimidating as everybody thinks, you know. It's just another side of the ball. It's just picking another player to put in that starting lineup, baby. It's easy.
Well said. Yeah, we got to win more people over. I'll tell you, I jumped in IDP because I won't say it, but I got kind of bored of offense only. It's been kind of realized at this point in time. It's known. Like even redraft bored me. I don't do redraft anymore because I'm like, okay, people are just drafting off of these thousands of predicted sheets out here. It's fun. It's kind of more rigid. Like, give me something different, something that actually takes a little effort. I dove in, went deep right away, and then I started to drown a little bit early on. I was like, shit, I'm getting my ass kicked in these leagues. So I just probably start paying attention to people like Doug here and getting my shit straight. So I'm working through those leagues. I'm a GM that's probably at the end of his contract, and I better figure this shit out real soon.
Well, hey, just real quick, I know we got a little show schedule, but just real quick, guys, the simple steps of IDP is pretty much the simple steps of fantasy football. You want the running back that's going to get the most snaps, right, guys? Well, yep. You want the linebacker that's going to get the most snaps, or that we think. Did we know who was going to play wide receiver 16 for the Giants last year? Nope, no clue. But we all had our guesses. We all picked up somebody. It's the same way with linebackers. The same way with DT. These guys don't come the premier players in IDP don't come off the field as much as you think they do unless it's a 3-4, 4-3 defense splitting out into coverage in a dime package. And you'll know that against more high-powered teams. I mean, we know who has the best run defenses in the NFL, so why can't you take just 2 more seconds to see who has a good passing attack? Is this team a good passing attack? Yeah, pretty good. All right, we're probably going to see the cornerbacks a little bit more, maybe the safeties a little bit more. So you want to play the player that's going to get the snaps. Number 2, it should be number 1, scoring. That's it, scoring. Does the linebacker score anywhere from 2, 3, 4 points a tackle? Or does the defensive end / edge get more points for a sack equivalent to the linebacker? Meaning, if the linebacker only gets 2 points for a tackle and the defensive edge gets, let's say, 3 points for a sack, boys, you get a 2-sack game. We're looking at some big numbers for a defensive edge, so you just move the guy up same way. PPR, tight end premium. I'm tired of tight end. That's the new damn. Get away with it. Why are we still playing with tight end, guys?
Extra flex.
All right, bring back kickers.
Listen, I'm a huge tight end.
Let's not get carried away.
I'm losing me on this, but I don't like tight end premium. I don't like trying to prop up the value to make them equal other things, but I do like that there's a unique position for the tight end personally, but it's because I like a lot of guys that no one else ever likes. So I scrape the bottom and find value every year. So I want that edge, but I'm with you. Don't make it a premium. We don't need Travis Kelce and fucking George Kittle to get any more points. All right? They're already good enough.
That's all I was saying. It's. I know it's more players. I know it's more to look at, but that's all it is, guys. You want the player that's going to play the most snaps. You want the defensive end if he's got high sack total points, and you want the linebacker if he's got high tackle numbers. I see it, fellas. I see it, baby.
The beauty of what Doug just railed off right there is he pretty much just cleared the deck on our general questions for Doug segment at the beginning without us asking a question.
I do still have one, though. So
Come on, boy.
I don't think most people that aren't, scouting this for Devi and for IDP leagues, like the only guy I knew coming into this year was Chase Young. Everybody else, never heard of anybody. So who were your favorite players heading into this last season that you wanted to see where they were going to land? Like who were you most excited about for rookies coming in?
100% is Isaiah Simmons. I mean, that's where it starts and ends for me. I've always been a linebacker guy. I've always built my IDP rosters around that core just because most of the leagues I play in is more balanced where, we play with the scoring settings. We make pass deflections worth, 1.5. We make QB hits worth 0.5. We make tackle for losses count. We mess with the scorings and make everybody unison. Well, when you got to start 3 linebackers and only 2 defensive ends, I think I'm going to kind of go towards that linebacker because there's only a certain number that play 90% of the game. So you want those few that never come off the field, the Blake Martinez, the Corey Littletons, the Bobby Wagners. You want those guys on your squad because they do not leave the field. Isaiah Simmons is those guys plus a strong safety. And here's another little tidbit for IDP. Center fielder and in the box. That's what you want to know when any safety is brought up. Center fielder, meaning he is a free safety. He plays in the back of the field, plays center field, and sits there and waits for the ball to come to him. Strong safety plays in the box, comes up, and is all around the field and goes to the ball. So strong safety, you always want to go for the strong safety first. Of course, there's our free safeties that we can play against high-flying offenses, but strong safeties in the box, that's what you want. Isaiah Simmons can play in the box. He can play center field. He can play nickelback. He can play linebacker. He can rush the edge. This guy does it all. Everything that Chase Young does, besides coming off the edge, is good. I mean, I ain't going to give the guy that. But he can still do it, meaning there's zero reason for this guy to even come off the field. Zero, none. He's the total package. I was watching the game against Alabama, and I believe on the first 12 possessions, he played 5 at linebacker, 3 at nickelback corner, and 2, 3 at strong safety. I mean, they just move him, and that was at Clemson. If they can do that with him at the college level, imagine what these NFL coaches are going to do once they get a hand on him.
So one of the knocks I've heard on him as far as landing spot was that the Cardinals haven't necessarily committed to any of their linebackers. They haven't really kept anybody in. They seem to rotate them through a lot. I'm not 100% sure if that's true. I was a big Hassan Reddick guy when he came out, and he hasn't seemed to put up the numbers I wanted. Do you think that his versatility is going to keep him on the field more than they've typically done with their linebackers? Because it doesn't seem to be a spot where they've had productive linebackers recently.
Let me ask you a question, John. How bad did the Arizona Cardinals need an offensive lineman?
We think terribly bad, but it seems
terribly bad.
Kingsbury says he's not going to have the ball enough to ever need any lineman. That's his philosophy.
They decided not to take Becton, who I thought would be a great fit in Arizona. Becton, agile offensive lineman coming around the edge for Kyler Murray, a mobile quarterback. Thought it was a great fit there for Cardinals. Nope, we're taking Isaiah Simmons, who Walt just mentioned. Or Barry just mentioned it's already crowded there. Guys, they didn't take this guy at number 8?
8, yep.
They didn't take this guy at number 8 for him to be a sub-package player. And here's another thing. If you got Budda Baker, sell him, because I think there's an outside shot that Simmons moves up to strong safety. Baker goes to center field on some snaps. Now, is that a big outlier of just go get whatever you can for Budda Baker? No, but it is a factor. Meaning, whenever you're separating this guy from this guy, whenever there's a trade offer, I remember there might be a chance he goes up and plays some strong safety. That's an outlier.
Yeah, that's a little nugget. I was a little confused by Arizona, the same as you were, Doug. I was like, there's linemen that are going to fall into their lap at 8, and it's a clear need. They explained against it. I'm not going to act like I have full understanding of the Cardinals defense. I don't even know who their D coordinator is. I'm sure that you do. But there was no one of consequence there. Jordan Hicks, who's an ex-Eagle, who I know very well as an Eagles fan, good injury prone. John, you mentioned Hassan Reddick. I think he was miscast. He's supposed to be like a lightweight edge rusher. Like I never saw him, and he's a tempo. Like just not meant. He's not a true. He wasn't a true linebacker. He needs to go somewhere where they just know a limited snap type guy that's brought in on pass rush situations is ideal for him. But to Doug's point Simmons should never come off the field due to that versatility. I do have a slight concern that versatility might be slightly limiting to him because, to your point, Doug, if he ends up playing these variable kind of hybrid cornerback and safety type roles, pulling him away from the ball a little bit more than a typical inside linebacker. So I think the kid's uber talented. I have a little bit of concern that they'll try and get too cute with him, because he is so athletic and because he did play all over the formation at Clemson. Does that concern you at all?
Well, it's like I said a little bit earlier. You weigh all them options, or I weigh all them options, Walt. And then whenever you go to separating those guys, whenever it is so minute these days, and there's so many uber talented and ranking. Oh man, rankings. I ranked over 350 IDP only players and rank over 600 mixed players over at Dynasty Nerds. And there is just sometimes you have to split hairs. And that's one of the hairs that people are splitting, once they seen where he was going to go. No offense, Hassan Reddick don't mean shit to me. No offense, man.
Hassan Reddick.
I don't even think he is a factor. Matter of fact, I think they need to call the New Orleans Saints and see if they can't work out a deal right there with the Saints. Maybe get a third round pick or something there from the Saints. Sit him on. Let the guy start over somewhere because I think he's just slowly losing. Career value, not speaking down at, fantasy football here. The guy needs to go somewhere and reunite his career. That's all there is. Jordan Hicks, he's the guy they brought in because they didn't have nobody. This guy, they're not tied to him in no way, maybe for this year. So it's just a 1-year deal. They'll probably sub him in and out. And then we're looking at the newly signed, Devard Kennard. They're from Detroit. And then they also brought in Devontae Campbell. Well, Arizona runs a 3-4 defense, which means there's 3 defensive linemen, 4 linebackers. Those 2 outside linebackers are going to be known as your edge guys. They are going to rush the quarterback 75% of the time, 70% of the time. So meaning, I believe Kennard, Campbell goes on the outside. Hicks, Simmons gets to play that linebacker role. And if Patrick Peterson keeps playing like dog crap after that suspension last year, they're going to need all the help they can get in the secondary. And who's the best coverage linebacker in Arizona right now?
Simmons.
Isaiah Simmons.
I think it's funny that you didn't even mention Hassan Reddick rushing off the edge after you told him he needs to get traded away, and then they brought him in.
I just figured they're calling right now. I figured Peyton's listening to this, and it's like, Doug, you my guy, Doug. I need to get on the horn.
Let's get this done.
So since we're on linebackers, I'm going to keep it here. My favorite with landing spot and everything else this year was Patrick Queen. Only being 20 years old, the Ravens don't miss on these early round picks very often. So having him go to the Ravens, who had a need at the position, to the point where they ended up double dipping and taking Malik Harrison later in the draft. Yep. I thought Queen's in a great spot, and especially for dynasty leagues. 20 years old, going to play the middle on a Ravens defense, and I don't see why he couldn't be productive for another decade. So for me, getting a guy who's 20 and locking him up for the future, especially if you're needy at linebacker, which I was in a couple of my IDP leagues. What did you think of Queen landing with the Ravens?
Hey, we play fantasy football. We looking for points. That's all we looking for is points, points, points. We want to beat the other team. I'm not going to argue anybody at all if they take Patrick Queen over Isaiah Simmons. I personally watched a crap ton of Isaiah Simmons film this offseason, did a crap load of articles on him, podcasting about him, and he's just a fan favorite of mine, personal favorite of mine. Watching all the tape of him, I keep him at 1 just because I'm a little hard-headed. Patrick Queen is going to come in. He's going to start. He's probably going to play 70% of the snaps right off the bat. Day one, 70% of the snaps. What's not to love? Here's a little fun fact. The last time the Ravens took a linebacker in the first round, his name was C.J. Mosley.
That's what I was going to guess.
Same year, Luke Kuechly won Rookie defensive year and the MVP with a total of, God, it was like 6 million tackles. The only reason C.J. Mosley didn't win MVP that year was because of Luke Kuechly. So the Ravens can pick out a linebacker, like Walk said. And like I said, I will not argue with anybody. You want to take Queen first over Isaiah Simmons? I don't blame you one bit because of the confusion down there in Arizona. Don't blame me one bit.
And I agree.
But I will say the Cardinals did come out, I believe it was Thursday of last week, and said that Isaiah Simmons is going to be the starting inside linebacker.
Yeah, they declared that 100%. He's playing linebacker for us. Like, yeah, he offers us some versatility. But I knew John was going to say Patrick Queen. We've talked enough of the league, right? I knew he was going. I mean, you land in Baltimore and your stock skyrockets. You're an inside linebacker, just going to be a tackle machine in that defense. But why was he the fourth linebacker taken in the first round then? Let's talk a little bit more about Kenneth Murray and then Jordan Brooks, because I know Kenneth Murray's name. I'll tell you what. Jordan Brooks was at Seattle Seahawks, like, here we go again. You know, we're the guy last year, whoever the hell they drafted, the Michigan State D tackle. I don't remember his name.
TCU again.
TCU. Yeah, he was on the edge. I don't even remember his name. Yeah.
I have him in a league.
How bad did they need edge help? And this guy still didn't get no snaps. How bad did Seattle need help on the edge that they had to go out and get Jadeveon
Collier, LJ Collier.
LJ Collier. They needed help so bad that they went out and signed the pricey Jadeveon Clowney instead of putting LJ Collier out there to play. I mean, so when you're talking about Brooks here, like, the Seahawks screw everything up that I write about and talk about, because you want to draft guys that got taken with high draft capital, because 99% of the time they get put on the field. I mean, you get taken in the first round, most of the time you're going to get put on the field is because they need you. You don't take Jeffrey Okudah at number 3 if you don't need a cornerback to play right away. I mean, and the Seahawks just throw all that out the window. They just
Rashad Penny says hello.
Hello. Yeah, exactly. As long as Pete Carroll's got chewing gum, everybody's going to be okay.
Yeah,
back to Jordan Brooks here. I'm not down on him as most people. I still put him in the tier of the first round linebackers, because KJ Wright is about done there in Seattle. They need somebody to step in. I personally thought that was going to be Cody Barton, who they drafted last year, but apparently they don't. I don't know. But he's going to see the field. I mean, there's no way around that. He's going to see the field. Could they possibly? KJ Wright did play some safety previously in his career. He actually came from safety and moved down to linebacker when they needed him more at linebacker than they did safety, when they had the abundance of safety there in Seattle. So KJ Wright's got familiarity at safety. So that could be something we see as KJ Wright move back to safety and Brooke come in there and get them snaps at linebacker.
Yeah, I mean, that was one. I mean, the read up on him seems like a Pete Carroll guy, you know, like attacks the ball, rangy, instinctive, like type shit. But I was like, you know, Patrick Queen was a name that I knew. He was in the public consciousness. I mean, he was on national television, you know, all the way down the stretch with LSU, just kind of dominating on the defense. And, you know, to see them prioritize, I mean, a pick before Queen went, Jordan Brooks, still surprised me.
What do they do good besides Russell Wilson?
Well, they got lucky with Russell Wilson, right? That was supposed to be Matt Flynn, right?
What do they do? I still hate playing them. I'm a Niners fan. I still hate seeing them every single time we play them. It's always a close game. They're always real good. They've got Bobby Wagner and Russell Wilson. And every year they're 10-6, 9-7. Yep. Some years they're better. But they do nothing good.
Yeah, I mean, early Russell Wilson, sure, their defense, Legion of Boom, legitimate. But once they had to pay Russell Wilson, that all went away because Daryl Thomas had to go, Richard Sherman had to go. They started filtering all players because they can't afford to pay them anymore. So they hit that perfect storm for a point. But the fact they've been able to sustain it with, look, we're talking about another head scratcher in round one. You know, you run their list. We just went LJ Collier a year before that was Rashad Penny. Yep. Those are their first round picks for the last 3 years, and none of them are like, pretty obvious. That's the guy they should have taken there.
Yeah, let's bring in Carlos Hyde.
Yeah, he's going to solve all of our problems.
Hey,
Yeah.
and then the other one you hit on there was Kenneth Murray. This is a Kenneth Murray signed helmet right here. So
Okay.
I know a lot about these Sooners here, boys, and he is one hell of a rangy, hitting the gap linebacker, and I believe that is the exact same thing the LA Chargers needed. They didn't need anybody that could coverage outstanding from the linebacker spot because that secondary is freaking loaded, boys. You hear me? They got Chris Harris this offseason. They got freaking Hayward still back there. They got Derwin James. This freaking secondary is loaded, fellas. And I didn't even mention the King kid, Desmond King, who is a Swiss Army knife, man. Guy can play anywhere on the field. So this Murray fits them to a T. All he's going to have to do, hey, go in there and tackle. Just go get him. And he's going to go tackle. The only thing with the LA Chargers is they run a hybrid 5-2 defense at times, meaning they like to load the defensive line and pretty much bring a safety or the aforementioned King up to linebacker to play that corner, that nickelback corner spot. And sometimes they won't even have a linebacker on the field. Now, this is only probably about 20% of the plays of the entire season. But as we was talking earlier, it's a factor into splitting those hairs, guys. And we've got 4 first-round linebackers here. We got to split some hairs. So as much as I love Kenneth Murray, as much as I love the landing spot, his floor might be the best of all of them besides Queen. But his ceiling, I think, is very limited, guys, because he plays in the Chargers. And let's face it, they ain't really did the best at finding a linebacker these last few years. Have they finally found them? We'll see, you know.
Couple of swings. He's one of the bigger boys, though, no? Isn't he? He's like a true line. He's like 6'3",
yes,
like
sir.
240, right? Okay,
And I can see him.
241.
Yep, I can see him coming off the edge a lot more because, like I said, at Oklahoma, the kid knows how to hit a gap. He can hit a gap in a heartbeat. He can split the gap. He's good working off of the offensive lineman, working his way around, good with his hands. But his coverage skills are lacking. His pre-snap read. Right now, I don't see Kenneth Murray as wearing a green dot playing the middle linebacker role. That's what I'm saying. I see him as just another added linebacker. I don't see him as the linebacker that they need.
I was going to say we're showering a bunch of these guys with compliments. Who do you think's a little overrated in this class at linebacker? Who are you kind of fading?
I'm fading Willie Gay. Willie Gay put up, I believe it was a 4. Let's see. He ran a great 40 time, got on everybody's radar, and as soon as he ran that 40, everybody just goes ballistic. I mean, that's all you have to do in the off season anymore is run a good 40 time, and the fantasy community automatically thinks you are generational talent. So all you got to do is, and he caught a bunch of eyes, and I just think he is meh. He's tall, rangy, and quick, but that's it. No instincts, no real ball skills. Just fast. So Willie Gay there, and let's see here. I don't really like the Brooks pick. I mean Jordan Brooks. We just flat out start there. I know I had some few good things to say about him. I'm 100% avoiding the guy. I don't want nothing to do with what Seattle's doing. Nothing. I don't own a Seattle player, and it's not because I'm a Niners homer. It's because I don't know what the hell they're doing. Maybe Bobby Wagner, okay. But not in Dynasty. I'm selling him where I can because the defense is a dumpster fire. So why would you want the only good player?
And what deeper guys? Anybody that's
hold on before we get off of this? I just want to give the stats on Willie Gay because they're uber impressive. And then
I was trying to find them, man. I was trying to find them.
4.4 640, 21 in the bench, 39.5 vert, 136 broad, 7.08 3-cone.
136.
Yeah,
136 on the broad. This dude absolutely exploded in the combine, like crazy athletic, 6'1", 243. So brings the weight too. One thing you didn't mention, Doug, and I don't know if it was intentional, is that I heard this dude brings as much off-field baggage as any player that was actually drafted. Like punched out a teammate. Yep. Something else happened. Like they felt comfortable, said everything checked out and all that. I didn't dive into it, but. And 1 year production. because I think he was suspended for a season or lost some time through those infractions, but it was pretty much like 1 year of production for Willie Gay as well at Mississippi State. So
Mississippi State. There you go. You just said it, Walt, right there. Mississippi State. Let me tell you why Mississippi State gets players. That's because Alabama and Clemson did the damn homework, and that's the only place they can go in the SEC. That's why he went to Mississippi State. And they didn't want no baggage. They didn't want no bit of getting hit in the face in the damn locker room or nothing, you know. And Willie Gay, I'm out on him. I'm out. And I got another one here for you. Logan Wilson there in Cincinnati. Logan Wilson is a pre-draft favorite of mine, actually. I could see him in a lot of good places. The Bengals freaking want one of them because I like Jermaine Pratt. They've got a young core already there at linebacker, and I believe they already had it laid out for him. They still got Malik Jefferson, too, who's a 2-year guy from Texas that is uber athletic and can do everything Logan can, plus at a faster level. So I could even see Logan Wilson being a kind of borderline cut.
Wow.
I could see him being a cut for this team.
They're soul-crushing.
Their defensive coordinator is strictly secondary driven. He's the guy that made Landon Collins. He is the guy that put that giant secondary back together. He is now in Cincinnati, and he is not going to take a linebacker that is flat-footed and can't cover. Hello, Logan Wilson. That's you.
That's unfortunate because this all tied right together. Is that I was sitting on the clock needing linebacker, I think late round 2, and was debating between Logan Wilson and Willie Gay, and I took Logan Wilson because
that's the better pick. That's the better pick because, as we just mentioned, Willie Gay, if he gets on the field, he is going to get so freaking big-headed and diva-like that he is starting year 1 in the NFL. That it ain't gonna last long, fellas. It ain't gonna last long.
Who's he gonna? If Gay gets on the field, who's going off? Is he better than Hitchens? I mean,
no, he ain't. He ain't. I mean, I know people want to say he is because they see that 40 time and because he's a rookie. Oh man, that rookie craze, fellas. You could cash in on it. You could cash in on that rookie craze.
Draft him to trade him.
So
yeah.
We're going to have to pivot to the line here because we have blown way too much time on linebacker.
Sorry,
but going to defensive end, obviously, besides Chase Young at the top, Gross Matos went shortly after him, and Epinesa, who fell a little bit later than people thought. Who are your favorite defensive ends in this group?
Well, let's dig a little deeper here, and let's go to Dallas. Bradley and Nye. He plays on the edge there. He plays on the edge, and I think it was a perfect fit for DeMarcus Lawrence. Lawrence needed somebody that had a little bit quicker first step than he has. That way, they can draw the attention, and Lawrence can work more on his bag of tricks, meaning the spin move, the swat move. That's what Lawrence is good at. He needed somebody quicker off that edge, and I believe Anai is that guy. There's another guy there in Dallas that I like, Dorrance Armstrong Jr., that might get some snaps there before Anai, but I think Anai finally implants itself there on that edge there in Dallas.
It hurts me to hear you say it because I'm an Eagles fan, so I hate Dallas by nature. And when they took him, we have a needed end as well. We're getting old on the Eagles line, and I was all over Bradley and I was on Twitter saying, please draft this guy to the Eagles. I don't know who they drafted in that round. Moved on, probably hit another wide receiver, which was an area need. And then to see him land in Dallas was heartbreaking for me because it's like the true crux of the argument is I want to hate this kid so much now.
Yeah.
But I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think he brings a plus pass rush element, and being opposite a guy like Lawrence is going to help him ton.
Right. Another guy there, Julian Akwara for the Detroit Lions. They really needed edge help there, and that's also a sneaky pick. I went ahead and put about $20 on him on a defensive rookie of the year prop bet. He's about 2,000 to 1 odds. So there's your little betting there, Walt. Welcome, brother. Julian Aqua, so from Detroit Lions, and one more, Marlon Davidson and Atlanta Falcons playing next to Grady Jarrett, and they signed Dante Fowler. I really like Marlon Davidson. One more, Justin Matabuki from Baltimore. He got drafted to Baltimore. They lost Michael Pierce and need somebody to step into that nose tackle spot. I believe that's Matabuki or Justin M.
Good enough. Justin M.
Yeah, he's a name that stuck out to me as well in some leagues with like some defensive tackle premium type scoring. Is he a run plugger? Michael Pierce was like the ultimate, like just two gap or just eating people up.
Yeah, Matabuki he's almost the clone. I think he's Michael Pierce's son, but yeah, they're very similar. They're very similar, brother.
Okay, yeah, I'm there with you. Listen, you ran through some DNs, and we were already talking about curious Seattle picks. What's your take on Darrell Taylor? Because I've seen so many mixed reviews on Darrell Taylor.
I'd draft Darrell Taylor before I would Jordan Brooks in IDP leagues. That's how much I like Darrell Taylor. I'd draft him over Brooks in any IDP. If I needed an edge in my fantasy league, but maybe needed a bench player or something there at linebacker, I'd take Darrell Taylor in a heartbeat. I was high on him pre-draft. He went to somewhere where we're going to actually be able to use him. I think he's immediately better than LJ Collier. Immediately. Okay.
What was the problem with him? Was it injuries?
Darrell Taylor, yeah, banged up. I believe in 2018, got banged up there in Tennessee, and kind of got a guy. The guys, I was trying to think of his name, got played above him, and then that guy got banged up, so they started splitting time there. And he really didn't have the statistical season that jumps off at you at paper. And like we said before, he didn't have the great 40 and didn't have the great broad jump. So,
Yeah, I heard a lot of potential with him. The dude's just dripping with potential. I'm like, fuck, that goes one of two ways.
Yeah.
There's no middle ground in potential because you didn't see it. So you're hoping it translates or that Seattle can put him in positions to succeed. I liked him.
I think he's more developed than Gross Matus, but not as athletic. That's kind of the range there.
I like it.
Seems to me when I've been on the clock, when Chase Young is already gone, where I need an end, Gross Matos and Epinesa are the two guys that are left that I'm kind of humming and hawing and picking in between. Which one of those guys are you leaning towards for the second best defensive end?
Well, both of them are kind of similar in the way that they need NFL knowing. Meaning they're going to have to get in the NFL and get their feet planted and learn more of the schemes and the packages. They've got the strength and they've got the want to be good at the NFL level. They just need more of the tools. But the answer to your question is Gross Matus, because up there in Buffalo, they still got Trent Murphy. They still got Jerry Hughes. They still got pieces that they're not going to take off the field for Epinesa to come on the field. Carolina spent all of their draft picks on defensive players. They're going to play them defensive players.
Mm-hmm.
Gross Matus, he's not going to play immediately, but once he catches on, across from Brian Burns with Derek Brown in the middle, that boy is going to get some cleanup. He's going to be cleaning up, baby.
It's a ringing endorsement if I've ever heard one.
Oh, they got something cooking down there. It's going to look ugly in year one in Carolina. They're going to get boat raced. But
they are going to get the dog whooped out of them. Another sneaky player real fast there in Carolina is Jeremy Chin. They lost Eric Reed, which left about 130 tackles on combined tackles for somebody to get. I believe Jeremy Chin comes in, plays day one, and gets maybe 65 to 70 of those tackles. And for a rookie, that's damn good, folks.
Yeah, Chin is we'll go right to safety with that. Chin's my favorite guy, and basically saying exactly what you did. He should be the starting strong safety from day one, going right into Reed's vacated spot. So for me, he should see the volume and get the work that was left. I know a lot of people have McKinney above him, or kind of 1A, 1B. But to me, kind of what I've read, and correct me if I'm wrong, with McKinney and Peppers, I've heard that the plan is to kind of rotate them around all over the field. So similar, like you were saying with Simmons, obviously he's not going to play linebacker or any of that shit, but they were saying that he's going to be moving around quite a bit with Peppers, and they're going to be playing different roles and stuff. Have you heard that also? And then what do you think his future looks like with the Giants?
I agree wholeheartedly, brother. I completely think that he is going to be all over the field there, and I hated the landing spot, to be honest with you. It seems like as soon as their D coordinator left for Cincinnati, They just started throwing darts, man, at the dartboard and seeing what would stick at the secondary. You had guys that, Julian Love, and they took their compensatory draft pick with. Hey, there you are.
Ah, beautiful.
Just went black.
Yeah,
It just went black.
Listen, it was getting too hot.
Hey, it is hotter than Hades, right?
Listen,
Man, it is hot as
the
crap.
fact you're even outside doing this tells me all I need to know about you, Doug. But
Wait,
I gotta
David McKinney, is he going to be free with Jabril Peppers there?
That's the problem, and that's the problem Dabari's talking about. We really don't know where he's going to play because Peppers still ain't implanted himself at that strong safety role. That's why they shipped him off in Cleveland, because they couldn't find out if he was a free safety or a strong safety. So I'm not investing in them Giants boys. That's pretty much what I'm saying. I'm out on them.
Are there any guys going a little later? It seems, the drafts I've been in seems Chin and McKinney are going first and second in drafts.
Yeah, buddy, I got one for you here. Ashton Davis, New York Jets.
Yeah.
There's a chance that Jamal Adams gets dealt here pretty soon.
Yep.
Hey, trade talks are heating up. Come on, Niners. Come on. Anyway, Marcus May. The Jets are real big on Marcus May. I don't personally like the guy, but the Jets are real big on him. We could see Marcus May stay and either maybe play free safety and Ashton Davis from Cal come up and play strong safety. More likely, Marcus May comes up and plays strong safety in the box, and Ashton Davis goes back to free safety. But there's a guy that, went to a place where they needed that secondary help, and they like him enough that they might ship off Jamal Adams. So that says something about the kid.
Yeah, it's very interesting the position that you took on that, because my thought all along, and granted, Jamal Adams could be dealt. It's been open conversation, so I'm not certainly a possibility. I just assumed this was the last year of Marcus May. Hasn't been able to stay healthy type thing, and I do like Ashton Davis as well. I think, to me, I see him as more the Marcus May replacement, which would make him the free, which would make him less appealing, to me in the long run. But it's a name I like, and supposedly they were super high on him. They took him in the third round, if I'm not mistaken. So it's a great name. No one's mentioned Antoine Winfield yet.
I was trying to find the name.
Come on.
I was fixing to say, who did Tampa Bay draft? I can't find my paper.
That's my top guy. That's the safety that I want.
Good call, Walt. Good call, brother.
There, because there's I'm trying to think of his name. It's Justin something.
Evans.
The only player I know in their secondary right now.
That's because, he's only there because that's all they had. Exactly, Walt.
Yeah,
the only thing I don't like about Winfield is who's their quarterback.
Brady.
And I said quarterback. Okay, who is the best time manager in the game, boys?
Limited opportunity.
Limited opportunity, and that's kind of why I kind of forgot about him. I know that's just a factor, but like I said, when splitting hairs, I put it up there, and. I love Winfield. Love Winfield. I just think Brady's going to keep that offense on the field all day long. And
I'm with you. He's going to keep them on schedule. I'm holding out a little hope that, due to that fact, and you referenced this early on in the conversation, is there's going to be a lot more throwing against Tampa Bay secondary than running, and their run defense is already stout, so it's going to put those secondary players in positions to get tackles, PBUs, interceptions, and the like. So I'm big on Winfield. Like I said, he's my top guy. And I like Chin a lot as well, just because he's got a tremendous opportunity in Carolina. But I'm a Winfield guy.
Y'all ain't running me off of here before I get to talk about cornerbacks.
I think we were talking a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not leaving until I'm here. On Fantasy 40.
They matter. God damn it.
Right here.
I think we were saying right before we started recording, we were talking about, rookie cornerbacks, but, them getting a lot of targets because they're rookies and getting peppered while they figure it out. I wonder if that's a reason to target Grant Delpit. Correct me if I'm wrong, but his tackling is not the best. So aren't teams going to go towards him a little more and kind of make him tackle?
No, because he's going to be the center fielder, brother. Damaris Randall is going to play that strong safety spot there in Cleveland, and it's going to put Delpit back there playing center field. And about the only thing Grant Delpit does good is hit people when he does actually tackle them and go point A to point B. That's it. He is good in the line of sight, but once his head goes up or goes down, once he loses contact of the player or the ball, it's all lost. And as soon as the defensive coordinator sees that in the NFL, this kid's going to go down the depth chart. So not big on Grant Delpit.
No, me neither. He's somebody, we talked about a little bit with other guys we're fading. He's the guy who I want no part of in this safety group.
He was a guy that I read a lot of. If you watch his 18 tape, he was the best cornerback in the class. And if you watch his 19 tape, which he was hurt, missed a bunch of phantom tackles and things of that nature, is where people were evaluating him more.
And don't forget, there was a linebacker there when he was there looking like a premier generational safety. There was a linebacker there named Devin White who played all over the field and is one hell of a linebacker and makes everybody on the team look better. So
very true.
Devin White made Grant Delpit get the hype he got. I just laid that out.
Great, yeah. Not a big Delpit guy, and especially in the landing spot, wasn't crazy about it either. You just
right.
Just finished him off, in my opinion.
Dead.
He was already staggering around.
yeah.
Officially dead to the Fantasy 40. Well, we'll stay in the secondary. You're very excited to discuss cornerbacks, so let's hear it. Run us through who you like for fantasy.
Only reason I like bringing them up, fellas, is because they help win leagues, mainly in redraft. But in Dynasty, you can trade these guys off to new people to your league. You can trade these guys off for late round rookie picks to get another rookie cornerback the next year. It's like replenishing your bank account, boys. You use them for 1 year, get his name out there, let him get some recognition, then you trade him for the same pick that you're going to take another one this year. Like the Gladney kid there in Minnesota. They done shipped everybody off the dang cornerback room. There ain't nobody in the cornerback room in, Minnesota left besides my guy Mike Hughes, Everybody go get Mike Hughes.
I like Mike Hughes.
Start, baby. Start. But Jeff Gladney, the Arnett kid there in Vegas. Whoa! I didn't have him in my top 50, top 100, and they're like, "Hey, well, come on down. You're our number one."
Yeah, we need
him. Go get him because he can't cover. He can't track the ball, but he can tackle. He's a good tackler, and that's what we need in IDP. We need him to get thrown at and then tackle him. That's what we need.
Funny. During the draft, when they picked him, and lots of people, like you said, were like, whoa, they're taking him this early. That was the first thing I thought. I was like, all right, I have a corner that I'm going to target in IDP leagues because I don't know much about him, but I know people are surprised he went this early. So I'm like, if I know that, then offensive coordinators know that. I assume they're going to pepper him with the football. So that was actually –
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
he's going to get ate up.
How often does a cornerback come in and impress year one?
Like, I got that wrote down.
How good they are is like the lockdown guy. I mean, is Akuta this guy that won't be thrown at? Because I saw Henderson going to Jacksonville, and they still have Bouye, who they haven't shipped out yet. So I think Henderson's going to get his fair share of work in his rookie year. So to your point, it's find guys that are going to see volume in year one, reap the rewards, and move on, and just keep recycling that ticket every single year. As they kind of pan out, they'll see less activity and they'll become less valuable. Like a Tre'Davious White is someone who I think is still kind of remained an anomaly in that regard because he's clearly one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL, but he still gets thrown at. He's still involved and he still makes plays. He's one where I'm like, when are you going to learn? The rest of the guys aren't that good. I mean, they got a decent secondary there, but he deserves that respect at this point in time. But he's still getting the stats because he somehow stays involved in the play and he locks on the primary receiver shadows. I don't know.
100%.
Yeah. Who else we got at cornerback?
Similar to Doug's strategy there. I've done that a couple of years ago. I had Gary and Conley for a year. I think he got hurt his rookie year, but he still had name recognition. And the following year, during the draft, I traded him for a late fifth and a late sixth. Then, I picked up a new rookie and some depth somewhere else on my team. So it is easy to flip them if somebody's trying to get a name.
Check this out. I got a couple of numbers wrote down here, and you asked about how often does it happen. I don't have how often it happens, but I have a little factor here for you. Jalen Ramsey, his rookie year with Jacksonville, his coverage grade was a 71.8. He gave you a number in most of my leagues, which it's balanced. He gave you a 11th overall IDP fantasy season his rookie year. Number 11 overall. That's his rookie year. Second year, 91.8 coverage grade. Points, 71.2, boys. Get rid of them. Sophomore rookie cornerbacks with high draft capital likely become locked down. Look at Marlon Humphrey. Look at Jalen Ramsey. Look at all of your superstar cornerbacks who excelled in their second, third year.
Jeez, it's about as severe as it can get. And he's a true lockdown.
Lockdown.
Clearly.
Lockdown.
So, there were some other cornerbacks that went early that I don't think are Jalen Ramsey-esque, if I should be so blunt. You mentioned Arnett, but what about like A.J. Terrell to the Falcons? Is he going to get abused? Okay, he's going to get abused year one, in my opinion.
That was my next guy, A.J. Terrell. There's your guy. And let me tell you why. The edge and the defensive line brings your push up front and gives them cornerbacks just a little bit more time to plant their feet, to see where the wide receiver is going, to be a step behind per se. Marlon Davidson, Grady Jarrett, Dante Fowler, those guys can get that push and make AJ Terrell be bad enough to give up a reception, but he's good enough to tackle. And that's what we want.
That's sweet spot.
I'm there. They blew my mind with that.
They don't have Desmond Trufant no more. They done sipped off Desmond Trufant. That was their best, worst cornerback. So AJ Terrell's coming in. I expect him to play day one and be fully implanted into that division.
Yeah, he was the most obvious draft for need player that I think I saw in this entire NFL draft, and I don't think that's the right way to go about it. Can you say something bad about Trevon Diggs for me real quick, since he ended up in Dallas?
I don't like Bama.
All right, fair enough.
There you have it.
Hey, they sent everybody off there in Cowboy land. Byron Jones is gone. Scandrick ain't there no more. The guy's going to have to play walk, and the Cowboys control that clock, with Zeke and Dak being a little bit more, less turnover prone. So maybe that's a knock on Diggs. He ain't going to get as many targets as these other guys will. So there you go.
Yeah, I'm looking more for. I can't wait to watch Deshaun Jackson and/or Jalen Reagor take him to the house multiple times this season.
Hey, I've been getting Deshaun Jackson everywhere, Walt. Everywhere, man. I'm picking him up everywhere in like the 19th round, 18th, 19th round. Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah, he's a gimme. And listen, he's a guy who did the local Philly stuff. He's pissed at how last year went, and he's all in this year. Deshaun Jackson, he's probably not a wide receiver one. He's going to put up a wide receiver 2 season. And like you said, you just got him in the 19th round.
Yeah. So now go a little short on time, but we'll go back to the other side of defense.
Yeah, we talked about offense.
We didn't get to the defensive tackles. Obviously, at the top here, you kind of got Derek Brown, who I believe was the first defensive tackle off the board. And depending on your league scoring, usually it's a defensive tackle premium to get any real value out of these guys. What do you think of Derek Brown and Javon Kinlaw? They seem to be the top 2 in this class for fantasy. Do you think you have a preference on one over the other? Do you think someone's going to be a little more productive for fantasy and sacks, run stuff? And what's your opinion on them?
They both are going to play the same kind of defense, meaning the 4-3. 4 defensive linebackers, only 3 or 4 defensive linemen, 3 linebackers, meaning there's nobody coming off the edge, so you don't have to worry about the outside linebacker, the 3-4, 4-3, all that stuff. They both play the right defenses that we like. That's check number 1. Number 2 is who has the better surrounding core, meaning who's going to take the pressure off of them and put the pressure on the people around them. for my money, I like D Ford. I like Nick Bosa. I like Eric Armstead. You put an uber athletic guy like Javon Kinlaw in the very middle of those guys, and I believe you have an explosion waiting to happen. I wasn't going to talk about him too much because every time I do, I get the haters about Niner Homer and all this crap. But anyway, I love the guy because if you put him around that talent, I think it's just like the perfect. If you were a defensive tackle in college and they said, hey, Doug, you want to go to the Carolina Panthers where there's 7 rookies drafted, or do you want to go to the 49ers where they made it to the Super Bowl and have 4 all-pros surrounded by you? Where you want to go for your career to be the best career you think you could have? 49ers. I'm going to 49ers, and I think it's the same way for fantasy. I think Kinlaw I think he has the potential to be the highest scoring defensive tackle this year, 100%. 100%.
2 things. One, he's a massive human being. He's 6'5", 324 pounds for his athletic. That should not be legal or physically possible. And two,
man, he's huge.
I would have to look this up, and it could be totally wrong, but I believe I heard someone that is credible say that he was a better prospect coming out of South Carolina than Clowney.
And they will say that because when Clowney came out, we thought the same thing about Clowney as IDP guys as everybody is now thinking about Hassan Reddick. Clowney is not Hassan Reddick. I didn't say that. He is lacking, meaning NFL teams don't know if they want him to be a base in on a 4-3 defense or to be an outside linebacker on a 3-4 defense. So whenever you're drawing straws like that in a GM office, and then you look at the price tag, Kinlaw's coming in on a fresh rookie deal, just built like a brick shit house. Everything's liked about him. That's why you see the comparison. It's rookie fever. Walt. Let's calm down. The guy ain't Clowney.
He's got some work to do.
Yeah, but with that core around him, he can put up numbers at that defensive tackle spot that'll make you not regret drafting. I'll say that.
So you would take Kinlaw over Derek Brown?
Yes, I would. I wouldn't do it as an NFL GM because Derek Brown has more tools, just a better all-around NFL pro right now than Javon Kinlaw. Derek Brown just has a sophomore on one side, a rookie on this side, and a first-year fully starting linebacker and Shaq Thompson now running that whole defense. So he's got things that he's got to climb uphill to be a contributor the way I think Kinlaw can just step right in and be a fantasy contributor.
I like the way you laid it out, and it's interesting because I agree with you wholeheartedly. It's the quality of the players around Kinlaw are going to make life easier for him right out of the gate. Just go get the quarterback. Just go do work day one. Right. It doesn't have. Derek Brown is going to have to work a lot harder for his stats, which ironically enough seems like that's almost a counter to like traditional offensive fantasy thinking. Is you don't want there to be this spread around all these alphas that are there because it's going to throw away opportunity. But no, I mean, Bosa commands double teams off the edge. You have a D Ford who has tremendous upside if he can stay healthy. Then you have Armstead that's sitting right next to Kinlaw, who wreaked havoc last year in the NFL. Kinlaw is going to see guard in front of him all day long. That's it. That's the only guy he has to deal with the entire game.
One guy.
Guard right from. You're not getting chipped by the center. No, it's coming. The running back's not working you at all. Just go on that quarterback all day. I like it. Which I talked to you a little earlier because I did in a couple DT premium leagues. I had the opportunity for both, and I went Derek Brown, draft capital, how I like the player and all. But talking to you a little bit more, I agree 100% to Kinlaw from a dynasty football perspective is probably the more informed decision.
Jalen Johnson, cornerback, Bears. Go get him. He's going to have to start right away. Kyle Duggar. Patrick Chung ain't there no more. Patriots like their safety / linebackers at that strong safety spot. And Chase on. that got drafted by the Jaguars on the opposite side of the defensive Josh
Is
Allen.
he going to be a linebacker or defensive end?
He's going to be a DN because Calais Campbell's not there no more. I think.
That's good because I have a hard time with these pass rush specialists that end up being outside linebackers. Even
I do too.
But they have to get the sacks because they're not going to get the tackles.
Exactly.
So let me be able to plop them down in that DN spot. That makes his stock go up to me.
Yeah.
And the good thing about the Jaguars is we didn't see that 3-4 defense last year the way we did in 2018, 2019. 2018, 2019, they ran a lot more 3-4 fronts where they only had 3 defensive linemen and they had the outside linebackers come on the edge. Mm-hmm. Last year, they ran a lot more 4-3 defense, meaning only 3 linebackers with that stacked 4 defensive linemen. So that's good for Chase on right there.
Well, let me ask you this question on total ignorance. So Josh Allen, was he an outside linebacker last year by designation and now he'll be a D end, or he was always a D end?
Always a D end.
Okay.
But it was up in there. It was a highly talked about topic. Gary Davenport from IDP Sharks, he's the one who does the position designations or helps with them for myfantasyleague.com, a sponsor of IDP Power Hour. Anyway, and that was a big topic, and he's now an edge. That guy has his hand in the dirt. He's going after the quarterback.
Gary's got a tough job because he's
I love him, Gary, man.
You're the guy who does it. You catch so much shit if you start moving people around.
Yeah, you're like, shit, he's worthless now.
It's a terrible
I'll help out. Oh, Gary Davenport, shit.
Yeah.
I get.
You got something, John? Because I want to hear a little bit more about Kyle Duggar. I mean, I don't know that anyone knew who this dude was out of Lenore, wherever the hell, like in the world.
There
and then
it is. That's
he lands with the Patriots, and now all of a sudden he's like I think he's already 24 years old, if I'm not mistaken. This dude's just wallowed away.
24 years, sir.
Yeah.
I mean, he's plugged in day one.
Security next year.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter as much for the safety position, just super old for a rookie. But he's going to plug right in your opinion? Or he could. I mean, who knows with Belichick?
Yeah, I think he could. But to be honest with you, he's a name because they don't – I think he can be Patrick Chung. I've never rostered Patrick Chung, never really liked the guy, never really ranked him really high. But when you look at the damn fantasy overall scoring at the end of the year, you usually see Patrick Chung around the middle, meaning you can play the guy. I mean, if you're in a bind, you can trot him out there. But let's face it, guys. On offense, you don't want nothing to do with them Patriots. It's the same way on defense. You don't want nothing to do with them Patriots because it's so wish-wash in, off the field, trying to be the next freaking, find the next.
Defense literally is like week to week. They do vary so much scheme. So, a linebacker is going to rack up 10 tackles one week, and then, they're playing cornerback and safeties in those spots the next week because of the opponent they're playing against. So there's just no consistency. With
guys. None, zero.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So we ran through the rookies pretty well here. Just a quick, just touching on veterans for a second before we get out of here. What vets do you think? I guess sleepers would be the word. What guys are people do you expect to have a good season that maybe we haven't had from them in the past, or they're ready, poised for more of a breakout year?
I'm actually writing an article, just finishing it up today, and I'm going to get that out for dynastynerds.com. It's kind of a IDP swap meet. I'll give you some buy, sales, and holds twice a month. And there I'm going to drop that. And I'll give you a few names from that. Levante David. As soon as Devin White came into town, Levante got a little bit banged up and missed some time. And it seems like he fell off the face of the earth. Nobody likes him anymore. Levante David, he was the 15th best IDP linebacker still overall last year, and that's with missing time. He still finished ahead of Devin White. Levante David, I believe you can get him. If you had Devin White right now and was in a redraft league, I'd almost bet you could take Devin White and trade him for Levante David, and I think Levante David outscores him again this year. So there you go. Carlos Dunlap had 9 sacks since week 11 of last year. till week 17. 9 sacks, boys. 9 sacks. And 27 of the 40 tackles he had since week 11 came against division foes, division rivalries, meaning he's going to get to play them every year. Carlos Dunlap. Last one I'll throw at you, Kenny Clark, just because it's a defensive tackle. Nobody talks really about defensive tackles unless they are the uber athletic rookie coming in. Kenny Clark did nothing but 85% of the sacks came after week 12, meaning that was during what? Your fantasy playoffs. Kenny Clark always comes around and is a top 5 defensive tackle at the end of the year, and you can always get him for the cheap because he sounds like sounds like a guy I'd talk to at work, next to the water coaster. What's up,
bagger at the
Kenny?
grocery store.
Nothing, Doug. What you do? Nothing, Kenny. How's them cows? Oh, they're good. They're good.
Oh, Kenny Clark.
Oh,
Listen,
Kenny.
you piqued my interest on a few of these. One, that Carlos Dunlap stat blew my mind. He's like perennially forgotten about, like everyone else Sam Hubbard, like John talking about Sam Hubbard.
Since week 13 to week 17, the overall number 1 scoring fantasy player, Carlos Dunlap.
Christ almighty. All right, I have to look into that. And then the second one was, you mentioned Kenny Clark, so my head went to Green Bay. And now with Blake Martinez no longer in Green Bay, who's the starting middle linebacker there? They brought someone else in. Like, the name's escaping me.
Kirksey's going to get the start until he steps down some stairs and he's out for 17 games and nobody can play him again. But they had a guy playing next to Blake Martinez a little bit. There's a guy there. I'll have to look it up, but his name escaped me. I've been kind of on a rookie craze here lately, And
Oren Burks, Ty Summers, Chris Bolton.
No, it's Burks. It's Burks there. He got banged up. That's who I was thinking about. Thank you, Barry. He got banged up is what happened, and they had to replace him with some off-the-couch guy. The off-the-couch guy did pretty dang good. Burks is a level above that, coming from Vanderbilt, where they kind of got beat up in college. The kid can cover real good, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if Kersey gets banged up and Warren Burks steps right in there.
Okay, yeah,
Thank you, Barry.
That's the name I wanted to know. You got me on the Green Bay.
I really like him coming out of Vanderbilt as well. I believe he was my number 4, number 5 linebacker coming out with Devin White and Mac Wilson and Tremaine Edmonds. Warren Burks was a really high sought out prospect,
Okay, yeah, I know the name. I know he hasn't really done much because I think he got hurt in his rookie season.
Yeah, banged up.
Gotten the opportunity. Okay, I'll have to put some Warren Burks out there. Last one, just because I'm trying to make my dynasty teams better. We're talking about linebackers that moved, and with Corey Littleton out with the Rams, who's going to step in and fill that middle linebacker role?
I got a name. Let me throw one out and see if I'm right, Doug. Is it Micah Kaiser?
It isn't Micah Kaiser.
Damn. I got a lot of him.
Barry, I'm going to tell you what, it's going to be Micah Kaiser by default, because if it was going to be Kenny Young when they traded for him last year, he would have got more time. I mean, they went out and got Kenny Young from Baltimore. I believe it was for a 3rd-round pick, something like that. And then when they needed the guy the worst in dime packages and needed him to do what they thought Kenny Young could do, which was be more of a coverage linebacker, he pretty much dropped the ball, literally. I mean, I think he had 3 dropped interceptions in 4 games. It was bad stats, guys, bad stats. I believe he had the most missed tackle rate in the NFL in that 3 games period. The guy's not good, or he'd still be in Baltimore starting.
Yeah.
Guy's not really good, so it's probably going to be Mike Kaiser, Barry.
Yes.
All right. Just came around full circle. Yeah. So listen, with displaced linebackers, I want to know who's the next man up to get in the middle of that field and play those heavy snaps, like you said. So I'm going to have to go look. And I was high on Kaiser coming out too. He went super late to the Rams. I think they got him for free. I think he was a day 3 guy, but I liked his upside. He's a bigger safety that obviously they use as.
And they like that. They like that because they like that. They like that sideline to sideline. Let me tell you, if Willie Gay would have got drafted by the Rams, I'd be a lot higher on Willie Gay because I think he could have went there and been a prima donna with Ramsey and Peters and Slick Terry McVay and Goff, and they'd have just got along swimmingly. But he didn't. So that's all out.
Well, shit, that ought to do it. That's our IDP primer. So I think I feel more prepared for the few IDP drafts I have left. I want to thank our guest, Mr. Doug Bevills. Thank you, Doug, for coming on. Let people know where they can find your website, podcast, Twitter, anything else you got going on.
Barry, Walt, thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate it. I've been a long-time listener to the 40, man. I've always wanted to get on here and chat it up with y'all, man. You can find all my writing and ranking at thedynastynerds.com, #nerdherd. And you can listen into IDP Power Hour with myself and Clutch Rust 72 on Dynasty Happy Hour platforms. And you can find me on Twitter at Oklahoma Doug.
Listen, long overdue. The pleasure was all ours, man. You are more than welcome anytime. You let us know when you want to come back.
Hey, I'll tell y'all what, whenever y'all get tired of Burke, you just holler at the homie. I come on and we'll run this trio, baby. We'll run that 40.
We'll talk some offense next time.
Yeah.
Once again, for our guest, Mr. Doug Bevills, I'm John DeBari with my co-host, Mr. Matt Walker, and Missing in Action, Andrew Burke. We are the Fantasy 40, and we are out of here.
To say goodbye to
Andrew Burke. That's how you get out.
Hey, DeBari, an hour and 14 minutes in, I found my notes.
There you go.
You don't need them.
Hey, real quick, DeBari, real quick.